Hello, my name is Anna Marie, and today I'm here to tell you of a play that I believe is of literary merit. I will be speaking of the play Medea, which was written by Euripides. This is known as one of the ancient Greek tragedies. So to start off, I'd like to speak of what is this story about. So it is a play of a man named Jason, and he is married to Medea. Medea is also known for being in many other ancient Greek plays, one being the Odyssey. And this story is it starts off as a love story, as Jason and Medea are deeply in love and have two children. They have two sons. And soon enough, Jason starts to realize that he doesn't need to be with this poor lady when he can have this princess. And this princess was Glauce, which was the daughter of King Creon. And Jason began to fall in love with Princess Glauce, and Creon began to be afraid of Medea, and finding out if Medea had found out of Jason's new love, then she may want to get back at Glauce and want revenge and may do something harmful to her. So Creon decides to exile her from Corinth, and this upsets Medea very much. And she's one of those people who have the evil mind, but on the inside. And she doesn't express it as much as she does, like, behind closed doors. So she starts to come up with ways to kill King Creon and his daughter. And she comes to a point where she uses her own two kids to get revenge on the princess and the king. So what she does is she goes to Jason and says that she realizes that Jason deserves to be happy, and that the children should have a little gift for the princess, and asking them to welcome them into her home, because Medea thought of this idea that if she was being exiled, that her children should be able to stay and live their life with their father and the princess. So Medea decides to ask the princess to allow the children to stay in their palace. So she decides to give her gifts. And the two gifts that she asked the children to give to the princess was a robe and a crown. Little did they know that this crown and this robe was poisoned, and as soon as the princess had put it on, it began to eat her flesh, and it really just was not pretty. And soon enough, the princess died, and as she was dying, the king had this idea that he was going to try to save her by putting on the robe, and he puts on the robe, and he dies too. So then Jason becomes very angry and goes to Medea and says, why did you do this, blah blah blah. And so Medea tries to find one last thing to tip Jason off the edge, and she figures that the only thing that Jason still loves, that still exists, is his children. So what she does in her unright mind is she decides to kill her own children. And she says that if Jason, if she wasn't happy, then Jason didn't deserve to be happy. And Jason's happiness came partially from his children. So she decides to kill all his happiness and kills the princess, kills the father, and then kills her own children. There is a lot of symbolism in this play, and one of the biggest ones are the children. It is said that the children represented Jason and Medea's once known love, and that long, long ago they were once very in love and decided to have children. And once that love was gone between Jason and Medea, Medea decides that the children represented their love, so now that there's no love, there should be no more children. So since Jason no longer loved her, she decided to just kill her own children. A few of the very notable themes that occurred during this play were love, passion, and vengeance. It's very complex, the relationship between Medea and Jason, because there's a point where Medea does this and this and this because she wants Jason to love her back. But then there's a point where she wants revenge on Jason because Jason hurt her and Jason left her and Jason found a new love. So she decides to get back at Jason to make him suffer the way she has suffered. So it's very, very, very complex, as Medea will love him at one point and then hate him at another point. The literary merit of this piece of work is shown when we look back at the time when Euripides was writing this play, because the story of Jason and Medea was very well known during the time by the Greeks. It was a story that was passed down from generation to generation, and it was also said that it started a phase of feminism because Medea was tired of being stepped on by Creon, who had exiled her, and by Jason, who had abandoned her. So she decides to take a step up, and she ends up killing four people. And it was said that it was a way that women were now known and were into power.